This is how to make a blackberry buttermilk buckle and a raspberry rhubarb frozen yogurt. A buckle is an old-fashioned dessert that is built in layers. The top crumb layer is nicely browned and crisp like a soft cookie. The middle layer is a fruit-filled batter that explodes with fruit juice, creating a soft crumb texture. The bottom layer is butter that browns the bottom part of the batter, creating a bottom with a little crunch. To make the crumb topping, I scaled 20 grams of cold butter that was cut into small pieces, 25 grams stone ground all-purpose flour, 25 grams cinnamon sugar, and mixed them all together in a small mixing bowl. I rubbed the butter into the flour and sugar using my fingers until the mixture was uniformly crumbly. If the butter warms up too much, I place the bowl into the fridge and finish crumbling the dough when I am ready to use it. I spread 10 grams of room temperature butter evenly on the bottom of 3 125 milliliter mason jars. I placed the buttered jars in a high-sided frying pan and set them aside while I assembled the batter. The batter is made by mixing the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, so I scaled them separately. For the dry ingredients, I scaled 25 grams stone ground all-purpose flour and 15 grams cane sugar and mixed them together. For the wet ingredients, I scaled 25 grams of buttermilk, 1 egg, and grated a little nutmeg. I mixed in the flour and sugar until combined and divided the batter evenly between the 3 mason jars. I added 40 grams of fresh blackberries to each jar and pressed them in so the berries were covered in batter. I divided and spread the crumbled topping evenly over the battered fruit and baked the buckles in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for 45 minutes. A buckle is built in layers, and you can see these layers when the buckle comes out of the oven. The best buckles are loaded up with fruit, but still covered with batter. This is the way to make raspberry rhubarb frozen yogurt. I cook the fruit sous vide style and strain and chill the syrup before adding it to the Greek yogurt. I chopped up 50 grams of fresh rhubarb and added it with 200 grams of fresh raspberries and 30 grams of liquid honey to a food saver bag and sealed the bag using a vacuum sealer machine. A vacuum sealer removes the air and closes the bag with an airtight seal. I placed the bag in a water bath and set the immersion circulator temperature at 85 degrees Celsius and set a timer for 30 minutes. An immersion circulator heats the water to a constant temperature and gently circulates the water in the water bath to ensure uniform heating for long periods of time. I transferred the bag to an ice bath to cool down completely. The sous vide method works great because it works like a pressure cooker at that temperature to basically liquefy the fruit, which allows me to remove more of the bitter, hard, stringy fiber without blending it into the juice. Instead, I filtered the pulp through a fine mesh sieve using the flat side of a rubber spatula. A small amount of rhubarb still creates a big, bold flavor. I like to strain liquids into measuring cups so it makes it easier to scale my total volume. I added enough freshly made Greek yogurt to make 500 milliliters of frozen yogurt and mixed it in until it was smooth. I chilled down the bowl of an electric gelato machine, and when it was all frosty-like, I turned the paddles on and added the yogurt. When the yogurt was frozen, I scooped it into a 500 milliliter mason jar and stored the jar in the freezer. A tart and refreshing treat.